What's going on, everybody? Dottz Gaming here, and welcome to my Harrowstorm PTS patch notes review for patch 5.3 in the Elder Scrolls Online. So this is going to be 2020's first major patch. This is going to be the Q1 DLC, so I'm sure everybody is interested in wondering what ZOS has in store for us with this new patch. Now, I've gone through and skimmed the notes before doing this. The notes only came out like 3 hours ago from the time of recording this video. And I've just kind of skimmed through them, and overall, it seems like a pretty good patch. There's a couple things that are definitely, obviously, concerning. I've noticed a couple things that immediately I was like, I'm not sure. But we're going to have to see once the PTS comes out and comes live, once people start testing, if the things that I know that I have concerns with are actually real concerns, or if they work differently than they maybe read on patch notes. So we're going to dive right into it. I'm going to try to focus primarily on big ticket things as well as combat. I'm going to skip over like a lot of the big bug things and just kind of focus on all the major points for the patch. So one of the biggest things with this is that we got 2 new 4-player dungeons, Ice Reach and Unhallowed Grave, which are going to kick off our Dark Heart of Skyrim year-long story. And they did say during their press release that these were going to be really important in kind of setting the story for the year. So it's going to be cool to see these new dungeons. We also have a couple big combat changes as well. And the biggest focus of this update was to further improve game performance. You love to see it, with an emphasis on frame rate stability, ultimately resulting in fewer drops in your frames gain rate, which is really good to hear. Really, really glad to hear that this is a primary goal for them with this DLC. And you kind of notice it. There's not really a crap ton of changes like we saw in Dragonhold and Scalebreaker, which, thank God, I don't know how much more whiplash I could have taken. So I'm glad to see that this is their primary goal. This is a big thing, though, this highlighted paragraph right here. Please note that for this update, we're refreshing our patching and file manifest data to remove duplicate files and older data that is no longer needed. This will result in major improvements to load times, streaming of assets, reliability of asset loads, and a reduction of space taken up by the client on your hard drive. In order to achieve this, you will be required to re-download the entirety of the game for the PTS and then eventually when this goes live. To this end, the size of an update is 68.5 gigs. Note, you do not have to delete anything manually. Just let the patcher run on its own. And I also believe that this will apply to when the game comes live. I've had so many people ask me on my stream, when do I have to re-download the game? The launcher will prompt you to do so. You don't have to worry about doing it manually. So diving into it, we got the Harrowstorm DLC. The Ice Reach dungeon. Hidden among the churning waves of Sea of Ghosts, this frigid isle serves as the seat of power for the cruel Ice Reach coven. Now lashing storms swirl around it. Could this be a natural phenomenon or something more sinister? Unhallowed Grave. Long ago, the soldiers of Bankorai garrison buried something in this accursed cavern, an evil too great to leave unguarded. Now centuries later, even the most daring Redguard explorers know to give this grave a wide berth. Ice Reach and Unhallowed Grave are the new 4-player dungeons which can be reached via Hrothgar and Bankorai, respectively. Ice Reach's entrance is in northern Hrothgar on the coast. The entrance is a boat used to travel to the dungeon. Unhallowed Grave's entrance is in southeastern Bankorai, southwest of the fallen Waste Dolmen. Both of these dungeons include a normal version in addition to the challenging vet version. There are unique item sets, including 2 new monster helms, only available within these dungeons. And you have unique achievements available for completing these, including the unique body marking, unique weapon style, several titles, and housing items. You like to see it, man. I'm glad to see some styles, like skins and stuff added for the dungeons still. It's really, really good stuff to actually get people wanting to go and complete these dungeons. Now, the new item sets. We got 2 new light sets, 2 medium sets, 2 heavy sets, and 2 monster sets. And additionally, there are 2 new serial crafted sets. So you can craft these at any of the 3 capturable towns, Vlashis, Cropsford, or Bruma, which is pretty sweet. In order to reach these areas, you must first ensure that your alliance has control of the town, so be prepared to spill blood. Do note, however, that these stations will remain attunable for the crafty crafters who do their writs. Now, there's only a couple of these new sets that kind of have me raise an eyebrow. And I'll kind of go over those big ones when we get to them. So the first one is Hitties Hearth. It's a light armor set from Ice Reach, and it gives 2 lines of magic recovery, a line of maximum magic, and when you heal yourself or an ally with an ability, gain a warming aura for 10 seconds. While in the aura, you and your group members restore 1,020 health every second and reduce the cost of sprint, block, and dodge roll by 5%. This can occur once every 12 seconds. Nice healer set. I like it a lot. I have been waiting for a set like Titanborn Strength since I've started playing this game, and I'm glad to see them add a true Berserker set into the game. Second piece is Penetration, weapon damage, maximum stamina, and the 5-piece adds 110 weapon damage and 1240 physical pen. This bonus doubles when you're below 75% health and quadruples when you're below 50% health. So the lower your health, the more damage you deal. This is a true berserker set. And I've been waiting for a set like this for physical damage dealers for such a long time. And I'm so happy to see them bring it with Titanborn Strength. So I am a big fan of this new set. We got Bonnie's Torment, heavy armor. Line of healing taken, a line of maximum health, a line of maximum stam, and when you taunt a nearby enemy, you tether to them for 5 seconds. While tethered, you apply major maim to your enemy, reducing their damage done by 30%, and you gain major vitality, increasing your healing taken by 30%. The tether is broken. If enemies move 8 meters away from you, this could occur once every 14 seconds. So we have another set with major maim. It'll be interesting to see how tanks apply this to their loadouts, if they do at all when it comes to PvE content. So cool new major maim set. Our first monster mask is Mother Cyanate, I think. Probably absolutely butchered that pronunciation, but we get a line of maximum magicka, and while in combat, casting an ability with a cast time or channeling an ability grants you damage shield that absorbs 3,000 damage for 10 seconds, and this effect can occur once every 10 seconds. Moving into the Unhallowed Grave sets, this first set was one that kind of gives me a little bit of an eyebrow raise, because depending on how the 5-piece applies will determine whether or not it's just a decent set or if it's broken. So we have Draugr Grip. It gives a line of maximum magicka, a line of spell penetration, a line of magic recovery, and dealing direct damage to an enemy has a 10% chance to apply a ghostly curse to your enemy for 6 seconds. Cursed enemies take 530 extra damage from all of your damaging abilities. This can occur once every 6 seconds. Now, if this is just 530 extra damage on the tooltip, that's not bad. If this is 500 extra 30 damage every time an ability deals damage, the set's going to be broken, because the dot on whoever's cursed is going to tick insanely hard. So we're going to have to test this one to see how it operates. It's not like apparent from the way that the tooltip's written on the patch notes. Let me know what you guys think, though. What do you think it's like every time it ticks, if it's just to the tooltip? How do you guys think this 5-piece is worded? Because to me, it's not apparent right off the bat. We're going to have to see when the PTS comes up and really test it to see what this set does and how much damage it actually adds, like, you know, and how much damage it feels like it's doing to a target. So gonna definitely be keeping my eye on this one, because it's either gonna be really freaking good or just okay, and gonna be a, you know, little bit of a single target DPS edition. We have Aegis Caller, medium armor, line of weapon damage, line of stamina recovery, line of weapon damage, and when you deal critical damage with a melee ability, you summon a lesser Aegis for 12 seconds, and after 2.5 seconds, this spins its blades, dealing 5k nearly bleed damage per second, and this could occur once every 10 seconds. So is this going to be like I don't know if this is going to be like a stationary thing that you just like, okay, don't stand near this, or is this going to be like a little like summonable mob that's going to follow your target around? It'll be interesting to see. Regardless, that's a decent amount of bleed damage every second. This thing's going to hit pretty decently hard if you stand in it, which it's pretty cool. Again, we'll have to see what kind of what the lesser Aegis actually looks like when it's summoned. Grave Guardian, heavy armor. Line of maximum stam, 2 lines of maximum health, and summons a stone aura while blocking, hardening you and your nearby group members, increasing your physical and spell resist by 4,400. Okay. Not too bad. It gives your group a little bit extra tankiness. Not sure how much this will be used, but still, I like the concept. Kjolnar's Nightmare, monster mask. Adds a line of spell damage, and whenever you deal damage with a light attack, you put a bone stack on your enemy for 5 seconds. You can only apply 1 stack per second. At 5 stacks, an undodgeable skeletal hand attacks your enemy after 1 second, knocking them into the air and stunning them for 3 seconds, or dealing 14.5k magic damage if they cannot be stunned. An enemy that has reached 5 stacks cannot gain bone stacks for 3 seconds. That sounds really good. It seems like it's going to be really good. You can only apply 1 stack every second at 5 stacks. I wonder if these are going to be unique stacks, or if like 2 people attack the same target, will they stack it up at the same rate? Because at least it's good that like after an enemy has reached 5 stacks and not gain bone stacks for 3 seconds, it will prevent like multiple people from proccing this like 14.5k magic damage on them. So I'm glad that they added this line in. But I'm wondering if the stacks, like if you have 2 people with this set on attacking a person or attacking a mob, if it's going to be like one person applies the first stack, the first person applies another stack, blah, 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 you know what I'm saying? So regardless, this set sounds pretty interesting. It seems like a really decent CC because it's completely undodgeable, so you're going to get CC'd by it. I mean, I guess you could block it. Or you get a big chunk of magic damage. Interesting set. Will be cool to see how strong it really feels in a fight once we get onto the PTS. But at first glance, it seems like a pretty good option. Seems like a pretty good option. Next, we have Cyrodiil Crafting. So, critical riposte. You gain a line of crit resist, maximum health, more crit resist. This is located in Vlashris. And whenever you take crit damage, you apply minor uncertainty and minor innervation to the enemy for 4 seconds, reducing their crit and reducing their critical damage by 10%. And you can only be affected by critical riposte once every 7 seconds. So this is interesting. Very, very interesting. This is like different version of Wizard's Riposte, but like more towards crit damage instead of overall damage. Very interesting. It'll be cool to see how much like this really affects crit builds once it's actually in place. I like it. Interesting set. Something a little bit different. This is another eyebrow raiser. Unchained Aggressor. Max stamina recovery, weapon damage, spell damage. After breaking free, gain a major berserk for 9 seconds, increasing your damage done by 25%. This can occur once every 21 seconds. My God. My God, that's a long time. But I mean, it does have a decent cooldown. Got a 12-second. Will be down for 12 seconds. But still, you know, that's 25% flat damage increase. Major Berserk is not a buff that you see very often. So it'll be interesting to see how much this really feels like, you know, because if you attack somebody, they break free, they could just go freaking ham on you. It's gonna be big damage, man. It's gonna be big damage. I am definitely gonna be checking this set out because you don't see Major Berserk very often because it's such a strong buff to put on your character. And, you know, like I said, it's going to be on you for 9 seconds and down for 12. So it will be cool to see how this shakes out in PvP. Located in Bruma. Definitely one I'm going to be testing and one that I'm just going to be looking at. See how this is going to be. Definitely a little bit of concern, but we'll kind of see how bad or good it is once we actually are able to test it. Dauntless Combat, located in Cropsford. Maximum stand, maximum health, maximum magicka, maximum health. When you're affected by a disabling event, you automatically break free for no cost. After using this effect to become winded, it cannot re-trigger this effect for 21 seconds. Don't think this is too good. I think the cooldown might be a little high. But not a bad concept. Not a bad concept at all. I like the concepts of these 3 sets. I think Unchained Aggressor is going to be freaking great. I think it's going to be really, really good. Like I said, Unchained Aggressor, Kjolnar's Nightmare, and the Titanborn Strength, as well as, what's the other one? Draugr Grip, are all sets that I'm definitely looking at. Titanborn Strength is probably my favorite. Draugr Grip, I'm wondering how this 530 applies. Kjolnar's Nightmare, got some concerns with the stacks. Want to take a look at how that works. And then Unchained Aggressor, how impactful will this really be? So overall, some really good sets. Some you know, really good stuff. Nothing that super stands out as like a holy crap, this is going to be a huge problem. But some things that, you know, definitely are going to warrant testing to see how balanced they are in the grand scheme of things. But overall, I like a lot of the concepts that they're trying to put in here. We got new collectibles and dies, new achievements. Performance improvements. You love to see it. Frame rate stability improvements have been achieved by optimizing several systems. This means you will now encounter fewer drops in frame rate, maintaining a smoother display of motion to screen. Please see below for a brief explanation. Optimize multi-threading implementation to improve performance in situations with lots of effects. Optimize specific processes that can cause spikes in resource usage and cause FPS drops. Parallelize the fixture update processes, allowing them to utilize multiple cores. Oh, wonderful. Added additional miscellaneous CPU optimizations, including the following: terrain loading, tutorial GUI, compass pins, miscellaneous function improvements. You'll love to see it, dude. You'll love to see it. Thank God these are starting to roll out. We got new PvP campaigns. 4 new PvP campaigns will be opening with the launch of Update 25 and are all appropriately themed with the Dark Heart of Skyrim. All existing campaigns will be shut down, and players assigned to these campaigns will be granted end-of-campaign rewards in addition to receiving a free campaign reassignment. These new campaigns include a 30-day CP-enabled no alliance locked, 30-day CP or no CP non-alliance locked, 30-day CP-enabled alliance locked, and a 10-49. You read that correctly. The 7-day campaign is no longer available. I don't think it is now anyway, currently. I think they totally got rid of that. But yeah, so it's still going to be a 30-day no alliance lock, 30-day no CP non-alliance locked, and 30-day CP alliance locked, and then the below 50 campaign. I think which one of these campaigns, Blackreach or Greyhost, words are hard sometimes. gets more populated is going to depend on the order in which they're listed and kind of how that they're displayed. But it'll be interesting to see once everybody gets a free reassignment where they land, because I know so many people were like, oh, it's clear that everyone loves Alliance Lock because no one's in the current 30-day non-Alliance Lock campaign. But when they put that campaign into the game, people didn't really have the option, or people didn't get a free like campaign reassignment. Most people they're just like, okay, I'm just going to stay in the campaign I'm in. I'm not going to move. Why should I move? So it'll be interesting to see where people land for sure and how they're listed. New collectibles for PvP. Knight of the Circle armor, weapon outfit styles can be obtained by purchasing Knight's Resolve or Knight's Rebuke from a war researcher in Cyrodiil. So good stuff. New collectibles from PvP. You like to see it. New homes. We're excited to present 2 new homes in this update. Forge Master Falls. And this one includes a built-in blacksmithing station. Oh, pretty sweet. Theives Oasis with its mix of Redguard architecture, both old and new. The Theives Oasis features a stunning waterfall. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Got some Master Writ furnishings, Crown Store furnishings, Undaunted Achievement furnishings, the Update 26 Prologue quest. You'll need to obtain the free item from the Crown Store, and then you can get started. It'll tell you where to go. We have the ESO Anniversary Jubilee event. You have to give the Jubilee boxes, and there's a new outfit called the Jeffreen Paladin outfit style. Okay, you can earn event tickets as usual. This is stuff about the PTS, known issues, just some random fixes, combat and gameplay. This is stuff with dragons, some other stuff. This is not, there we go, here we go. Combat and gameplay, Necromancer, get into the class stuff. Looks like they're actually making some attempts at blast bones. Due to many mechanical issues with Necromancer's engagement with corpses and targeting of corpses, the following changes have been made in hopes to alleviate some of these shortcomings. Blast bones and its morph corpses will now last 6 seconds, up from 5. Skeletal mage and spirit mender corpses will now last 10 seconds, rather than 5. Improve the target abilities of all tethers and will now link to corpses closest to your reticle from a much larger radius. Good, 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 good. You'll also love to see this. Blast bones. The skeleton from this ability in its morphs will now attempt to leap from up to 28 meters. Man, that Blast bones is just the Kobe now, dude. He's gonna bring the rock to the paint, man, rather than 15 meters. That's a huge range increase. I'm hoping this makes it way more reliable. Fix an issue where the skeleton would appear to jump backwards when leaping in close ranges. The skeleton will now properly attempt to face its target rather than moonwalk jumping. Increases the speed in which the skeleton jumps. Good. Finally, some blast bone changes. Good, good, good. Boneyard. Reduce the cost of this ability down to 3780 from 4950. You're going to see this a lot throughout these notes. They're reducing the cost of a lot of the AoEs, which is really, really good because sustain is crap right now. So it's nice to see some cost reductions actually come. Bone Tyrant, Bitter Harvest, then Pain fix an issue where the major protection from this ability was not extending if you had Overworld's Guidance or other duration extending bonuses. Bone Totem, Agony Totem, fix an issue where visual effects for the synergy of Pure Agony's cooldown indicator would appear to allies who are still on cooldown. The beam of necromantic light will now only show itself when you activate the synergy. Living Death, Reanimate, fix an issue where this ability is morphs will no longer trigger events that required resurrections to proc. So some good Necromancer stuff. You'd like to see it. Oh, actually, this is some big stuff. Morrowind, Hoff. Draining Shock ability no longer drains magicka of those affected by the dot. Hunter Killer Fabricants. Reduce the health of the Refabricant Spears, Hunter Killer, Negatrix, and Positrix on Vet. Reduce the damage from Charge Gore and Static Cascade. Static Cascade no longer stuns. Pinnacle Factotum. Reduce the health of Pinnacle Factotum, Refabricated Centurions, and Power Storms. Shockwave ability no longer stuns. Refabrication Committee. Reduce the damage of Melting Point. Reduce the damage of Fulminate and Grasping Limbs. Reduce the health of the summoned Ruin Fact. Wow. Reduce the rate at which secret projections happen. Wow, some big Hoff nerfs. Holy crap, holy, what a cannoli. Well, I'm glad well, you know, I'm happy. You know, we accomplished Hoff before it got nerfed. Hooray. Some pretty big Hoff nerfs, man. We'll have to see. They don't give any numbers here. So it's hard to kind of judge whether or not these nerfs are big or small, but still surprised to see some Hoff changes for just nerfing the instance. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. It's just some more fixes and stuff. Nothing crazy here. Just scrolling through. All right, here we go. Combat and gameplay. This is what you want to see here. Combat abilities, general, updated block to be calculated more efficiently by the server, similarly to sprint. Stats and passives that key off block while blocking or while bracing are now more accurately to update the transition between actively blocking and not. Overall, the core block behaviors are untouched between mechanics and costs. Good. We will be monitoring the forums or other areas of feedback and bug reports, so please make sure to provide feedback on this change if you run into any strange behaviors or have questions. Activating block while animating an ability or an attack will now blend the animation more fluidly instead of completely obfuscating the attack. The core mechanics of block canceling remain untouched, but now display more of a previous attack's animation before your character animates the block. This is an important line to read here. Block canceling is not going away, but it will look a little bit different. Note that the visual effect for blocking still appears as soon as the block is officially activated, which has been untouched in terms of how long it takes to activate. Fix an issue where you could activate block. When you didn't have enough stamina to actually block the next attack, you will now need to have adequate resources. Attacks that reduce your stamina to 0 continue to remove block after you successfully mitigate the effect. In some cases, where a secondary effect like bleeds occur, the bleeds will still be applied. This is currently not intended, will be adjusted in the future. Attacks that reduce your stamina to 0. Wait, did I just read this twice? No. Okay, this is literally just the same sentence. Effects would normally be mitigated via block through this scenario will no longer cancel their effects as your ability to block has been removed. So yeah, when you hit 0 stam, your block will actually properly go away now. They literally just copy-pasted that line. That confused me a little bit. Fix an issue where using a single target charge, leap, or teleport ability would not remove targets from stealth. Fix an issue where many dots were gaining the effectiveness of stealth. Fix an issue where sources of healing could be dodged or blocked if sourced from item sets or NPC skills. Bash now properly cancels channeled abilities when you do not have a target to successfully bash. Okay. The following thorns or damage return abilities now have a 7-meter range on their effect of an infinite ranges: spiked armor, living dark, and spiked bone armor. So poor DKs, no infinite ranged spiked armor anymore, unfortunately. Summon pets from player abilities such as Unstable Familiar will now behave more consistently with other abilities when entering deep water. This means that they will no longer deal damage or heal while in this state. Fix an issue where some leap or charge abilities cannot be cast while mobilized. Fix an issue where many leap or charge abilities would move your characters in odd ways. Updated the control responsiveness of many charge or leap abilities. Fixed an issue where many leap or charge abilities would fail to apply their effects if you begin sprinting. Whew, lots of fixes. Lots of fixes and changes. This is good stuff. You like to see a lot of these bugs and things fixed to properly work. Now, this is something that I am going to be keeping a huge eye on, and it's a huge thing that we need to pay attention to as players. Off balance will now properly update its size against the varying target dummies. Updated off balance to behave more consistently across content in the game. Off balance now has 7 seconds from player-sourced abilities and sets. Off balance is no longer reapplied to a target for 15 seconds once the original source of off balance ends. This cooldown is displayed as a debuff on targets once they are affected. Off balance is no longer consumed on targets from heavy attacks or abilities. Very big line. Very big change. Not entirely sure how I feel about that. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. What do you guys think about this? Off balance no longer being consumed on targets from heavy attacks or abilities. This is going to give Exploiter from the CP tree way more value. Note that these rules may be relevant in some areas such as tutorials. Blah 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 blah. So yeah, that's a huge change. Huge change. Major reminder: heroism will now only grant ultimate while in combat. This will prevent these buffs from keeping you in combat longer than intended. Thank God. DK, Art of Flame, DK Standard, fix an issue where the first 3 ticks of ultimate would appear to happen instantaneously. Draconic Power, Dragon Leap. This ultimate will now properly animate its leap onto the target, regardless of its range, resulting in more overall reaction time for those receiving the end of being DK dunked. That's right, bringing the ball to the hoop. Protective Scale. This ability now grants damage mitigation to abilities more appropriately. Molten Weapons, Molten Armaments. Fix an issue where the major brutality grants for this ability could fail to apply to group members. Stone Fist. Updated this ability to improve its visual storytelling and perk cast impact. Stone Fist is now a 2-part ability instead of a single instant mid-range attack. Activating this ability will now stomp the earth, causing you to deal damage in an area around you after a short cast time, and generating 3 charges of this ability. Wait, so you'll stomp the earth, so you'll just deal AoE damage. Activating this ability again allows you to lob one of the earthen spheres around. Oh, so the instant stomp instantly gives you 3 charges. So it's like you have to do 1, charge it up. Activating this ability will allow you to lob one of the earthen spheres around you to an enemy up to 28 meters away and damage them. The base ability no longer has a stagger mechanic, but instead the final charge will stun the enemy upon dealing damage. Stone Giant. This morph retains a stagger in the form, causing the targets affected by the range attack to take additional damage. Increase the damage take by 65, up from 45. So I like that they're giving this skill some more personality, but I'm not gonna lie, I still don't like it. I don't know. To me, this just shouldn't be a ranged skill. It feels weird being a ranged skill. I mean, Stam DKs have a 28 meter range rock, and Mag DKs have a, 8 meter whip? You know, it's just weird. It's weird. It feels wrong. You know, I would have rather still have seen some sort of, I don't know, some sort of mechanic where, like, maybe you almost took, like, the dizzying swing animation, but it turned your, like, weapon into, like, this huge stone. And then, like, on the third cast where you would go to stun them, instead of doing, like, an underhand swing, it would be an overhand swing, and you just smash your target over the head, and you knock them down and deal big damage. Like, that would feel so impactful. I just don't. This is just me personally. Again, I want to hear what you guys think about this in the comments below. I don't like it being a 28 meter range. It just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like it. I don't know. It just feels weird to me. It gets cool, you know, like that, you know, now you can stomp the ground, you summon some rocks, and then you can, like, punch them to your target, you know, 28 meters away, and still the whole stagger thing. Like, it's cooler than it originally was. Again, I need to see the animation in game before I judge it, you know, but I still personally don't like it. I don't like it. I'd rather them do, like, something what I said, where it's more melee range focus, and it feels like you're smashing your target with stone rather than being like an earthbender, you know. But that's just me. I want to hear what you guys think, though. That's just my opinion. Nightblade, consuming darkness, fixed an issue where the synergy granted from this ability, its morphs could be activated when at a certain threshold. Okay, so literally barely any Nightblade changes, just like a bug fix. Sorcerer, Daedric Summoning. Unstable Familiar, got its cost reduced to 3510, down from 4500. Good. Cost reductions are nice. Ball of Lightning, only got a bug fix, which is good. Lightning Splash, got a cost reduction, which is nice. Overload, fix an issue where toggling this ability would dismount you. So, bug fixes and cost reductions. Like I said, there's not a lot of class changes, man. Not a lot. Spear Shards got its cost reduced to 3780. Nova. This ability and its morphs will now have a negative telegraph, so you can properly tell if the heavens are being called down to protect you or smite you. You like to see it. Sacred Ground. This passive no longer snares enemies in the area. Oh, thank God. Instead, it increases your block mitigation by additional 10%. Oh, Jesus Christ. This is nice. Templars will now have one less snare. You'll love to see it. Warden, Green Balance, Living Vines. Fix an issue where you would slowly turn to your target, receiving the cast if they ran out of your field of vision while activating. You'll now immediately snap to their direction and cast the ability. Glacial Presence. This passive will now also increase your critical damage against enemies and critical healing against allies who have been recently afflicted with the shield status effect. A buff to Wardens. Okay. Okay. This is mostly a buff to Magdans. Good stuff. Interesting. Weapon. Bow. Poison Arrow. Fix an issue where this ability needs morphs would cancel any previous cast abilities, such as cast times or channels. Poison Injection. Fix an issue where the initial hit of this ability is not considered an execute by many proc conditions. Rapid Fire. Ballista. Fix an issue where this ability can continuously break casters' invisibility. Thank you for fixing Ballista. Volley got its morphs. Cost down, which is nice. Destructive Touch. Fix an issue where the visual effect of this damage over time would fail to refresh using a lightning staff. Wall of Elements got a cost reduction and a bunch of fixes, which is nice. Blade Cloak got a cost reduction. Twin Blade and Blunt got a bug fix. Battlefield Mobility got a tooltip update. Panacea. Fix an issue where your casting this ability would fail to trigger events when playing a damage shield, since this ability automatically casts a shield, so a bug fix. Two-handed. Berserker Strike. Fix an issue where this ability and its morphs couldn't proc Soul Lock passive. Reduce the damage done by this ability and its morphs by 16% to better account for the fact that it ignores mitigation. Thank God. Thank God. We see a Berserker Strike nerf. It is bound to happen eventually. Heavy Weapons. Fix an issue where the bleed from this passive was not consistent with its proc condition. This is huge. Right here. Dizzying Swing now stuns enemies who are already off balance. Dizzying Swing will no longer be setting enemies off balance, it sounds like, which means that you will need another condition to apply off balance to your enemies, and then you can go D-Swing for your stun. Very interesting, very, very interesting. This is gonna be really effective in CP, where you have the CP passive that allows you to set people off balance when you dodge roll their skills. No CP, you're gonna need other sources of off balance in order to make D-Swing actually stun them. But guys, what do you think about this change? It's a big one. It's a big one. What do you guys think? Let me know. Let me know. Unstoppable. Unstoppable Brute. The cost reduction of CC break for this ability is not properly linked to the major resolve it grants and will increase the duration with bonuses such as Jorvold's Guidance, but will also be lost if a source of major resolve is applied. This one makes me so fucking upset. Drain Essence. The stun from this ability, its morphs now occur when the cast completes rather than when it begins. Motherfucker. I can't block, cancel, stun anybody with Drain Essence anymore. I'm so upset about that, dude. Blows, man. Ah. I'm sad. I'm sad. I use this stun on so many classes, man. Like, I use this on my Macro. I use this on my Magden. I don't want to go back to Clench. I don't want to, dude. But, yeah, what do you guys think about this, too? Drained Essence no longer stunning on instant cast, but rather when it completes. Let me know. Let me know. Werewolf just got a couple of fixes. Nothing crazy. Meteor will no longer grant ultimate for hitting corpses. Concentrated Barrier got a tooltip update. Bone Surge got a fix. Trapping Webs got a fix. Barrier fixed an issue where the visual effects of the shield would fail to persist if the original shield was refreshed. Volendrung got the Blight Attacks buff. Rorikin's Rebuke buffed. Malakat's Revenge buffed. Accursed Charge nerfed. And Ruinous Cyclone nerfed. Malakat's Revenge updated this ability to better match the visual effects, resulting in a 700 milliseconds cast time. Rorin's Rebuke updated this ability with a 600 millisecond cast time. Ruinous Scythe can no longer pull people through walls. This will result, and it also has the ability's damage does not match the visuals. This will result in a reducing delay of the first attack to 0.5 seconds down from 2, resulting in 3 additional ticks of damage. Interesting. Consumables. Fixed an issue where poisons that dealt damage would inconsistently apply the poison status effect. They will now all properly have a 3% chance to apply it per tick. Fixed an issue where poisons would not use your highest crit chance. Attempting to drink a potion while you're unable to drink no longer plays the sound effect when you drank a potion since you didn't. Thank God. God, this annoyed me so much. Thank you, Jesus. Fix an issue where some potions can be activated while stunned. Fix an issue where some poisons would proc off of effects that require a potion to be consumed. You shouldn't be drinking those. Good. Item sets. Affliction. Fixed an issue where this set would apply minor defile and have a 15% chance to also apply disease. It would now always apply disease. Archmage now properly triggers off Resto Heavies. Ashen Gripped. This set no longer forces your character into an animation. Fixed an issue where the set didn't properly trigger off all melee attacks. Removed the 10% proc chance. And increased the damage on activate to 5,350 from 1,100. Ashen Grip got some pretty big buffs. Auroran's Thunder. Decreased the damage. Thank God. Nerfed this frickin' set. to 1147 from 1285. Not a huge nerf, but still. Very nice. Briarheart. The set no longer has a hidden 1-second cooldown on the heal, but the heal has been decreased to 37.8, down from 609. Wow. Increased the weapon damage to 450 from 449 for a prettier number. Increased the proc chance up to 25% from 10. Good. Briarheart needed this so bad. Because it's a chance on a chance. So now it actually will be way more worth using in certain situations. Claw of Yolnakreen got a bug fix. Clever Alchemist. Oh no, I use Clever Alchemist all the time. Updated the in-combat check for this item to be more accurate. Increased the duration of the bonus to 20 seconds up from 15. Increased the weapon spell damage to 675. Oh, Clever Alchemist got a buff, boys. Oh, I'm so hype. Oh, I'm so hype. I love Clever Alchemist, dude. It's one of my favorite sets in the game. I actually plan on using it on a couple of classes going into next patch too. So I'm hyped to see this buffed. Hell yeah, brother. That's awesome. Curse Eater. Fixed an issue where the set would fail to proc off ultimates or mend wounds. This set now has an 8-second cooldown per target rather than overall. Okay. Increase the Magicka Restore to 678 from 600. Fixed an issue where this set shared a cooldown with Stendar's Embrace. Curse of Doilemesh now properly works off fear targets. Reduced the cooldown to 4 seconds, down from 7. Increase the damage to 12,500, up from 12,000. Starlock Brave. Fix an issue where the set can activate with Shield Wall and is more active. Destructive Mage. The set explosion now can be triggered by any heavy attack rather than only allies. Reduce the cooldown to 4 seconds, down from 10. Decrease the damage down to 6575, down from 7500. Pretty big damage. Dune Ripper Scales. Fix an issue where the set would not activate with Shield Wall and is more active. Elfbane. Increase the duration bonus to 5 seconds, up from 2. That's pretty large. Fixed an issue where the set wouldn't properly apply onto some tooltips. Pretty big buff to Elfbane. Engine Guardian fixed numerous issues with the set's cooldown for abilities where the seer could cast. Fixed an issue where the set would leave the mortal realm if you entered in deep water. Essence Thief, the set now applies off of light or heavy attacks instead of only light attacks. Ooh, very nice. Fixed an issue where the set could prop off of friendly targeted light attacks. Eternal Hunt fixed an issue where the set was considered a dot instead of direct damage. Valerian's Revenge, the set only requires 5 seconds to trigger, down from 6. Increase the damage done to 9,600 from 4,700. Gotta take 1 second cooldown. Fix an issue where the set would fail to apply properly with lightning and resto stabs. Ice Furnace no longer requires direct damage with the proc to trigger. Increase the damage. Ice Furnace got a nice buff. Ice Heart fixed an issue where the set was considered a direct damage instead of a dot. Infallible Mage fixed an issue where the set's damage amp was not applying to all heavy attacks. Note that minor vulnerability now follows its tooltip and requires a fully charged heavy attack to apply. Infernal Guardian. This set now applies when you apply a damage shield on yourself or an ally. Updated the tooltip to better reflect the proc conditions. Oh my god, so many sets. Lecky's Focus. The set now grants major evasion rather than a unique buff. Remove the healing reduction from the set. Reduce the penalty from area of effect to 15% down from 25. Okay. Molakina. Reduce the cost of the penalty of the set to 8% down from 20. Molakina got a thick buff. Markulden fixed an issue where the light attack would snare enemies, where the damage dealt was highly inconsistent, and remove the proc chance. Prisoner's Rags got a fix. It will actually apply all the time. Same with Robes of the Hist. Scathing Mage. This set no longer considers the first take of each damage over time as direct damage, and this no longer requires crits to proc. Reduce the duration and cooldown to 5 seconds from 6. Shout out the Red Mountain. Just got a tooltip update. Sheer Venom got a big damage increase. 9,600 up from 84. Holy crap. Stormmaster fixed an issue where the set would fail to proc off Overload. Increased the damage to 1,600 up from 1,300. Fixed an issue where the damage done was considered a projectile rather than direct damage. Hughes of the Harbinger. The set now deals damage based off 6% of your max health rather than 4%. Tormentor. The set now properly works off explosive charge. Scoria got a fix where it could proc off procs. Olorime fixed an issue where it would trigger off siege. Vicosa. The set now reduces enemies' spell and weapon power by 268 instead of applying minor maim. Wow. Increase the duration to 8 seconds and reduce the cooldown to 12 seconds. Tanks, what do you guys think about the Vicosa change? Way of Fire updated the tooltip for this set to better represent its proc condition. Wild Impulse fixed an issue where this set's damage over time cannot stack for multiple players. Wild Queen's Arch fixed an issue where the snare would stack with other snares. Wrath of the Imperium fixed an issue where the set was not properly granting its bonus to all 3 hits, or shock, and its morphs. Jeez, a lot of set changes. Here's a huge thing, though. Battlegrounds. You can now only solo queue into Battlegrounds, and all Battleground MMR was reset. This is a big change to Battlegrounds matchmaking, which we are executing partially in response to player feedback and partially as an experiment. We recognize the change will prevent players from being able to reliably team up with friends in BGs, but it should also improve both the speed of matchmaking and the competitiveness of PvP matches. As part of the change, we are resetting the matchmaking rating of all players, so going forward, the system more properly evaluates individuals based off of their performance in solo queue. We will be closely monitoring both player feedback and impact of the changes on this system. So glad to see this, man. I'm glad to see them try this because the current state of BGs has been kind of miserable sometimes when you get your character up to higher MMR and you start getting up to those higher matches where you'll go 15 minutes and in a deathmatch a team won't even get 200 points because it's just so much AoE and so much healing, so much damage reduction, and it just gets crazy with people just class stacking and doing the sweaty comps. It just gets ridiculous. And then if you have a team of solo players, you're just going to get fucking rolled by the teams that are pre-made. So this is a good thing to see. I want to know your guys' thoughts on this. I am overall very excited for it. I do think that they could potentially make this solo or duo and don't do 3 or 4. Allow you to play with a friend. But for now, I am happy to see solo for BGs, and I know I personally will be doing way more Battlegrounds now that this is solo queue instead of being, having pre-mades in the mix and just getting those frustrating matches where it's just, a gabillion wardens on a team and you just can't move or do anything because there's just so many permas on the ground. So it's gonna be cool to see. Let me know what you guys think, though. That's, I think, a lot of the big stuff. I don't think there's much else. This is just a bunch of stuff on dungeons. Let me see if there's anything big. It's just a bunch of stuff on dungeons, just a bunch of fixes and some like seems like some minor changes. Nothing looks pretty major. I think that might be it. Yep, that's pretty much it. Guys, what do you think? 5.3. Overall, I like it. Overall, I like it. There's a lot of fixes, improved, updated. I like to see that. I like to see that they're taking the performance changes, the updates to the games with the bugs and everything. I'm glad to see them taking it seriously. I feel like this is the first patch that I've really seen just such a huge focus on fixed, improved, updated. It's really, really good to see. There are overall, like I said throughout my patch notes review here, there are some things I do have some concerns about, and there are some things that I am also just very excited for. But you know what? The PTS testing is going to show whether or not those concerns have any validity or not, or whether or not maybe I'm just not understanding the patch notes correctly, or whether or not maybe I think something's going to be a big deal or it won't be. But guys, remember at the end of the day, while we get our judgments and our first opinions from reading the notes, be sure to watch people test them or test them yourself to see if the things that you are worried about are actually something to worry about, or maybe something you didn't think about actually should be a point of concern. But I do want to hear what you guys think about Harrowstorm in the comments below. Please leave your thoughts. If you like the video, smack a like on it. Sub to keep up with ESO content, Harrowstorm, and Apex Legends content as well. And I stream live on Twitch, twitch.tv/DottsGaming. Go there. Go follow. I've been talking so long, my brain is like not processing everything I want to say because I've just been reading fix this, fix that. But overall, excited for Harrowstorm. This seems like a really solid patch to kick off the year. So hoping for the best, and we'll see what this PTS brings. So guys, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. As always, I'm Dottz Gaming, and I'll talk to you all very soon.